Hello there! This video is going to be about a project I made using Google Sheets and AppScript. And it is somewhat connected to the one I posted a while ago. Before I show you what I built, I'm going to explain its purpose and its deliverable. Working as a police clerk, by the end of the month, we had to record to the higher-ups every ongoing cases we had, as well as their state and some other information. And it looked like this. Let's manually add a case here. We're just starting April, so not much has happened. Let's check March. Just one thing to consider. We need to duplicate the entry because they count it using a count if. And this case status would override the other, so it wouldn't be counted. Yeah, and this is actually the trickiest part. We have to keep track of all the following info and conditions for every process given a clerk in a police station. But first, let me just clarify some terms. Cartório. Let's call it active. Fórum. When you ask the court for extension of the deadline. Relatado. When the police closes an investigation. Cotas. When the court requests the police to do some tasks, like prosecutorial directive. Cota cumprida. When you comply to the request. So the first thing is the cumulative number of police investigations initiated from the beginning of the year up to the last day of the month in question. Item 1. Investigations that, on the last day of the previous month, had the active status we discussed before. Item 2. Investigations that received a court deadline, a prosecutorial directive, or were transferred from another police station in this month. Item 3. Number of investigations initiated during the month, whether by administrative order or in flagrante delicto. Item 4. Number of police investigations closed or forwarded to another unit, whether initiated by administrative order or in flagrante delicto. Item 5. Number of judicial directives complied with. Item 6. Number of investigations for which an extension was requested during the month in question. Item 7. Number of investigations for which an extension was requested in the previous month and have not yet received a response. Item 8. Number of investigations that are active or have received a prosecutorial directive. Item 9. Number of investigations that both requested and received an extension within the same month. And the last field is just number of active cases or at the court waiting for extension of the deadline or subject to judicial directives. The sum of the items 1 through 3 must be equal to the sum of the items 4, 5, 6, and 8. Otherwise, the spreadsheet displays an error. As you can see, this can be very confusing, troublesome, and error-prone. That's why an intervention had to be made. So I figured out this was the necessary information that we had to keep. The date of the request of the extension to the court, the date of the response, the date of the end of the process, the date of the arrival of the judicial directive, the date of the compliance with the directive. These dates automatically update the status of the process. The clerk, police station, and this other field is the date the process was transferred from another police station. It doesn't happen very often, though. The state is based on the last day of the selected month. This is useful because we actually have to send this report on the beginning of the next month. The expiration date is based on the last time the process went to the court, whether as its initiation, upon the return of an extension of the deadline, or the day of the arrival of the judicial directive, plus the number of days granted for compliance. Here you can set the month, year, and police station. As you can see, we got an error. I didn't make it update automatically because the green field should match the item number 8 from the previous month. The correct values are written below, but there's a chance you made some manual mistakes changing past values after submission. So this is an opportunity for you to notice them. Here you can copy the text of the police website and paste it, so you only have to fill the local number and clerk. Given that you're already using the website, you might as well check for the process state. There's a newer version of the police website, which I even made a browser extension for. But yeah, the text pattern is different. That's why I have this checkbox. Once the process is in the spreadsheet, you can preview some of its info. The grayed out text is a value already present in the spreadsheet. Alright, let's pretend these processes didn't exist. You can use this range as a list of processes to check. Let's use the not automated spreadsheet of a clerk, for example. The only mandatory field is a digital number of the process. Let's pretend these 3 processes were in the clerk's not automated list. The behavior is now set to highlight the ones that are not present in the spreadsheet. Let's search this process in the police website. And let's assign Vanessa as a clerk for this list. If the local number is given in the list, it'll automatically fill it for you. And we can change the behavior to filter only the ones who are unmarked for when you want to make a lot of changes at once for all the processes in the list. Whenever you insert a process through this screen, its mark field is automatically marked. And you can use the extra menu to unmark all the processes. And you can also quickly rewrite the ordinal numbers. These are the download options, but the most important is the one at the bottom. I mentioned in passing in my previous video this spreadsheet. This spreadsheet can interact with the Process Management Spreadsheet in three ways. As a batch, for making changes to the request for extension and the date of the response. Individually, where you can manually set the dates for a given process. And through the export menu option. But first, let's just delete from the monthly report these three processes that we created and add them to the process management spreadsheet. What it does is to add processes that aren't present in the monthly report spreadsheet and to update the status of a process in the process management spreadsheet. In the process management sheet, there are only two available statuses for police inquiries, active or closed. In this screen, you're able to get a report for the processes based on the filters applied. Asking for extension and receiving work just like the process management version. The highlighted process is the one being displayed on the top, and you can use it to search in the police website for every movement for this process. Here you can also add the granted deadline for the court. The default is 60 days. But if you're working as supervising the work of other clerks, the most useful filter is todos os campos, all fields. And you can highlight changes made by yourself, others, or both. And this is just a quick list to help me keep track of the ones I already checked. The usual behavior is for the range used for the filter to be cleared after toggling the dropdown, but this checkbox preserves that report to be used with the All Fields filter. Let me show you one thing to be wary of. As you can see, the highlight in red shows this cell was edited by a method other than this filtered list. However, if I were to save this list right now, it would overwrite those changes with empty values. If I wanted to preserve those changes, I'd have to input those values here too. Let's make one last alteration. This screen was made to look for some common mistakes. The only mistake I've programmed so far is finding dates after the last date of the selected month. Let's select January. The filters are dynamic, and they filter processes with at least one of the selected dates being greater than the last date of the selected month. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you for watching until the end. Bye.